Generic greetings and welcome back to Prison Architect, where finally we're actually making, I wouldn't say a decent amount of money, but at least making some sort of money. Our daily cash flow is just over 1,000 with a total of 91 prisoners, although we can get some more and will be receiving some more in due course. So we got this cell block finished off in the last episode. There's a nice Polaroid there with someone sneaking ciggies inside a book, which is interesting. Looks like we have Simon here who is, well, kicking off for food for some reason. They were probably in solitary at the time because, well, they are a legendary prisoner and they tend to spend most of their time in there. Anyway, we're going to go to max speed here and let the game crack on. In this episode, what we want to do is basically we're on the sort of the management side now. We do have a lot of building still to do, mainly the workshop and a lot of flooring. However, it's sort of the management side. We're trying to get people through the system and we're trying to get them reformed. At the moment, we don't have anything on the prison grading because only 4 prisoners have been released, but hopefully over the next coming days, we will see prisoners start to leave. What I'm going to do is go to the security room here and dismantle the desk because, as people have rightly pointed out, it is the wrong way around. Finally fix the canteen, which, you know, at least we got that going for us, which is nice. But yeah, there is one big issue, and it's been plaguing us for quite some time, and that's the shower. The shower is not ideal. Because of this sort of bottleneck here, it tends to kick off quite a bit, and there has been some discussion on maybe removing this fence, and removing that fence would mean that there isn't a bottleneck. So what I'm going to do is spend just a little bit of money in order to do that, and see if in the morning that does help. I'm not too sure if it will or not, but we'll give it a go. We'll place that in there and we'll see what we can do. We did get some more guards last episode, including some armed and dog handlers as well, so we'll have to see if that alters things. We also do have obviously these snipers as well. Currently free fire isn't on, but they will do some warning shots before anything goes completely awry. We do have 48 grand, which is more than enough really to get this workshop up and running, so that's probably what we're going to do. Let's go over to utilities and over to capacitor, and we need to place one there and then the rest around there. We probably don't need to place much more than that, and it looks like this sequence here does seem to work. It's currently free time, so they're going to get up and go wherever they want, and it seems to me that oh dear. So Simon has kicked off. With there being an instigator, it looks like other people have joined in, and what's happened now is they've managed to take the shotgun off the armed guard, and they are currently armed themselves. And they are... oh, they've actually dropped, by the look of it, they've dropped the shotgun, and now it's basically a blitz-out attempt. Okay, we're going to lock down the facility and keep people inside here while we get a lot more guards and get them to the front here. We are going to put on free fire and basically just see how that affects things. It looks like most people are... actually, let's turn off free fire because I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Now that most guards are here, we can turn off the lockdown and get people charging inside. Yeah, most of these are trying to just run out. However, it looks like they are now... I was going to say calming down, but I think it's more put down than anything else. And, yeah, 12 people. Right. What about our legendary prisoner, though? I think they're in and around this. Let's have a quick look. Let's go over into intelligence and informants, and no, there is our... There than there. Simon's there. It looks like he's been searched and probably then escorted to, well, maybe not the infirmary, but certainly solitary. And, yeah, that happened. Didn't expect that in the morning, and we're probably going to have the pop-up to say that we're going to have a lot more issues again. It's basically like if more people die, we get put in prison. And it's kicking off again. I wonder why. And apparently a tunnel. This is quite a common occurrence. Well, I wouldn't say a common occurrence, but it's not. It's noteworthy common. I think it's 2 or 3 times we found a tunnel around there. Nowhere else, though, you understand. Anyway, danger level is up to max. A lot of prisoners have said they've been unnecessarily searched recently, which may be the case. The main problem is we're going to get some more prisoners. Let's go over to intelligence and informants, and you can see we do have some traits there. We've got strong, fearless, quick, and gang member there, who's called Green and ironically is in blue. In terms of their gang affiliation. There's also a lot of traits that we are unsure about at this point. So, yeah. You can see we've got a lot of potential CIs, so we are going to recruit all of the informant. In fact, Simon is one of the ones that wants to be an informant, which is interesting. So, on top of all of the myriad of traits, they're also going to get the, well, they're not going to get snitch, but if we activate them, then it will. And you can use that strategically, which is not entirely how it's supposed to be used. However, there's nothing stopping us doing that. What I mean is we can activate them on and off as a snitch all the time, and talk to them, and eventually they will be known as a snitch and might get targeted. So anyway, let's go over to objects and to workshop press. We want to place 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, and then the saws will go in here. We're basically following the same sort of pattern as we have for the other stuff, and if we check out utilities, you can see that is all connected as well. So that should be perfectly fine. So obviously a lot of stuff to do, a lot of stuff to clean up. Hopefully we won't have triggered the end stuff. It doesn't look like we have. Can I sell some shares? I cannot. I own 90% of the prison, however. I'm not against selling even more shares. The reason for that is I want to try and get a couple of things. The first thing I want to get is the legal prep and then legal defense. But I'm thinking of getting death row, because even though we can't expand on the island, there's no reason we can't expand to the right-hand side and have a death row / high security area over there. Although that sort of is a bit counterintuitive, considering that the whole point in the island is to keep all of the prisoners that are really dangerous on the island, and then why would you put even... well, I say more dangerous prisoners, even potentially more dangerous prisoners on the mainland, which is sort of against this whole thing. So I don't know if we'll expand. It's unlikely that we will in reality, but we'll see how we get on. Anyway, looks like Paul Blake has a knife there. In terms of our informants, I'm just double checking around there, and you can see there's a lot of people working. We've got a skilled fighter over there working in and around the workshop, which is quite good. Looks like Paul Hawkins is currently getting escorted to, I'm guessing, the hearse. That would make sense there. Let's just double check. Let's just double check our designations of things, and it seems to be fine. Yeah, that's all fine. Right. We haven't got a parole for the. We haven't got a parole for the protective custody prisoners, and I don't think it was an oversight. It was more just a case of we don't really need to have one. Realistically, it would be nice to have one, but it's just, look at that. The estimated refund chance is 2%, so they would actually go. They would actually get parole if they. Yeah, they would get parole if they went there. What we could do, we could change that to shared, and it might then use it. But we'll change it to access only, because that's generally a good rule of thumb. And Irving might actually get escorted there. We'll see, we'll see. Anyway, so we've got potential CIs all around the place, so we are going to, that's Stefan the Hans Kitzike. And we will say recruit inform. Ooh, that's the wrong button. Go back over here. We're going to recruit the informants here. Again, it's mainly not because we need all of these confidential informants, because we've got a lot of them. We've got loads now. We've probably got nearly 20 on the books. Looks like we've had an OD as well, but they've been taking over to the right place. Okay, yes, we got, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2... 23 confidential informants. Wow, okay. We've got Sean Piddock and Jeffrey as the ones with the highest coverage, so I'm going to activate both of them. You see, there is a bit of suspicion on there, and I will, just because we can. Where is Simon? Simon's over there. I'm going to activate those. Even though they've got a 7% coverage, I just want to activate them and see what the deal is. Are they kicking off there? There might be. So it looks like that person is being targeted, as we would expect. There's no one else being targeted around the facility, but it's good to know that those are all in. That's a lot of traits, isn't it? That's a hell of a lot of traits. They're also telling us about some... has everyone been in there? No, still waiting for Simon to go in there. Currently says idle because they're in lockdown. Okay. I will deactivate them, to be honest with you. I have to say en route, though. Deactivate. There we are. Yeah, it's good to know that we've got all these traits, and some people have got some ropes by the look of it. We haven't done a shakedown for quite some time, but we'll see how that one goes. So yeah, in the morning they didn't really get to the shower and fight because they sort of had a fight around there. But the thing is, it's now going to be a self-fulfilling thing because Simon, who was around here, they're probably, or have they been let out? Cursory inspection says yes, they have. And, well, we have a Featherstone, Adam Featherstone, prisoner number 534002, sentenced to 19 years for armed robbery. There we go, we found one. One Featherstone. Excellent. Anyway, where was I? Yes, Simon. The Revenge of Simon. Where is he? There he is there. It's very easy to see just because of the sheer bulk of the guy. They're actually out and about now, so they will have a lot of needs, and hopefully it'll be fulfilled soon. So they're shouting for food, which they'll probably end up kicking off and then be put back in the cell. But anyway, we'll click on a regime here. We can see the eat time is at 8 o'clock. So actually, it's only half an hour for them to wait. Let's just see if they actually wait or whether they just decide to boot off because they are quite impatient. And where are they going? They're going in the chapel? They are going in the chapel. It won't last too long because they're now going in here. And then finally they should charge straight towards this food source. And what have they got? Apparently 2 bowls of peas is what they are craving. Well, it's sort of the... peas are sort of like the most non-offensive veg I can think of, really. Or greenery, rather. I'm going to hire a couple more cooks because it seems that we are not getting the food out fast enough, and I don't know whether that's a chef thing. I guess it would be. We've also got some tasering going on in and around there. Okay, that's fine. So, we probably can now sell some... No, we can't sell some more shares. Looks like it's going to have to be a full day. For that. Apparently our total valuation is minus 240,000 generic units of currency. I don't know why it's that much. I'm guessing simply because of the deaths that we've had there. We do have 3 grants on the go. One of them will never complete, which is Cell Block D. We're never going to do that because it says raise the prison capacity to 200. And as I said, if we expand over here, it's... I don't really know. I mean, what we'd probably do is split this off and have a bit of death row and then move that over there. But it sort of doesn't really work as we intended. Anyway, so is that person ODing? They are ODing, but someone has found them. That's good. We've got the Reform Through Education Initiative, which have 10 prisoners pass foundation education course. So far, nobody has passed that. And if we look at our programs rather, we do have 1 person interested, so we've got that on the go. Workshop safety is the same thing. We've got alcoholics group on the go. We've got pharmacological treatment to drug addiction, although I don't think there's anyone bothered about that. Oh, there's 1 person, and we've got guard taser certification, which we don't need to bother. Okay, so we will do a shakedown. Obviously, that's going to piss them off, but... quite frankly, if we look at our supply for weapons, tools, narcotics, and luxuries, there's quite a high demand, although there's also... there's a decent supply of luxuries, so you can see the price for things. You can see the price going up now. As we find more things, it is going to start reducing this. It might look a bit dodgy at the top there. It shows that we found 5 shotguns. We haven't found 5 shotguns. It's what was dropped there when the fighting occurred, so it's, it's not as bad as you may think. So there we go. Right, so once that's done, what sort of things are we looking at? Well, we do need to put some flooring in, so we will order some of that. We do have some ceramic flooring here, which we will be placing. And I like the ceramic flooring in and around there. In terms of the common room, we're probably going to go for a mosaic tile, I think. Just because it's the... It's a fancy tile without being fancy, if that makes sense. Like, we're not going to use a wooden tile. And is that a tunnel? Wow, okay, a tunnel over there is not what I expected at all. I'll have a look at that in but a moment here. Alright, looks like we have found a tunnel. I'll remove that tunnel and prioritise the removal of said tunnel. Interesting that that's there. It's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm not worried. What will they do, dig to there and then all the way along? Yep, probably. Anyway, there's our search over with. We'll just double check our... in our dangers here. You can see the supply for tools, narcotics and luxuries has completely hit the deck. What's interesting, and well, it's interesting but not really surprising, is that the supply for weapons is now 0 and the trade prices are massive. But if we look at tools, you can see that things like the spade, saw and spoon, there's not much call for it because the spoon and the spade is used for digging, and I think the game knows and the prisoners know that basically digging out of this place is going to be impossible, so you're buying something that you're never going to be able to use, or it's going to be any real have any great effect. Although booze and cigs are quite high because I think they've accepted their fate that they're staying here, so they might as well drown sorrows and such. It looks like we've got a little bit more of a kick-off there. Nothing much to worry about. Is that Ainsley again? It is. And in terms of luxuries, once again, you've got booze and cigs there. Although booze and cigs is covered under narcotics, so it's classed as both things. So I wonder if you get double lockdown for it. Double punishment, rather. I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Looks like that bed is bleeding a lot of... It's bleeding a lot. Either that or that uniform has had the ink punched out of it. But anyway, there's been a couple of requests to put in some more drains in places that may have flooding, namely in the kitchen around the doorways, which is understandable. Also, have the same thing. Where was it discussed? Oh, in the laundry as well, so it doesn't come out. I get that, but to be honest with you, with it being behind this door, and if this breaks, it's just going to flood around here. So. And even if it comes out here, there's nothing for it to go on to electrocute, or for anything to be electrocuted. So danger level is flying up for some reason, and once again it's kicking off. And it's once again Simon Wildly. Every single time they tend to start fighting, and yeah, it just means that they're going to instigate everybody, and I'm not going to put it on free fire. It looks like a lot of prisoners are... You know what? It's very concerning. It's disconcerting, in fact, that... When it's like, you can hear shotguns go and there's 3 deaths at this instance for understand. We don't even blink an eye. It's like, it's only 3. Yeah. It's this small bit here. And also the fact that a legendary prisoner kicks off all the time. That's a problem. Anyway, it looks like I can't get any more... Looks like I can't get any more money. I can't sell any more shares because of that. But it's not a big problem because we do have more enough money to continue. We are going to do probably this around here. I think for the security and all of this, I think for the common room and such, we're not going to split this up. This is just going to be concrete tile. Like that. And then the cells for protective custody are going to be a bit better. The ones up here, however, are going to be the metal flooring. Anyway, yeah. In terms of needs, we'll just have a quick look at that. We can see that there is not a massive critical need for a lot of things. Hygiene exercise, surprisingly, is up there. I know we did change the regime, so we don't now have any specific regime for the shower because we thought that was where it was kicking off at. But it looks like, regardless of what we do, it's always going to be a problem. And also that Simon is going to spend the majority of his life in there. In fact, look at that. Solitary for 33 hours. That can't be right. Yes. Recent misconduct. Destruction, escape attempt, attack staff, serious injury, murder, and found weapons. 33 hours solitary. I guess it would be 34 in total, right? Oh, he's just been fed. See that? The guard came along and gave him some food. Wow. That's, well, that's a new one. Anyway, they're going to crack on there. I'm not going to bother... Actually, I probably will. I was going to say I'm not going to bother putting some flooring around here, but I am going to place some metal floor. It's going to be the whole thing. Solitary is going to be full on with that one. And then in and around here, we're going to have the same sort of tiles. We will have ceramic tiles in here and in here. I know they're very expensive, but I do quite like the look of them. In the workshop, I would like ceramic tiles, but that's pretty much going to bankrupt me. 10 grand on tiles. Wow, okay. It's, I don't know, there's something about them that I quite like them. They're very, old school. I'm getting that sort of Clockwork Orange prison-y type look. Anyway, so where we're at, we're getting 2 grand a day, which is interesting. We do have 5 prisoners released now, so we've got 1 extra. I'm guessing that's one of them on parole. In fact, I know for a fact it was 1 on parole because I remember seeing the 3 grand that we got up there, which was good. At least we've got toilets in here now. Originally, it was a toilet, but it wasn't officially designated a toilet, although prisoners were using it as such, which was not good, to say the least, and there was a lot of cleanup required. However, now that we have got those in there, it's a little bit cramped, but at least there's some seating. So, a quick look at the informants once again. Are there any traits that we are unaware of? It doesn't look like it, and I think we'd better check out gangs. So in terms of gangs, we have increased, well, there has been an increase, rather, in the amount of gangs that we have. We have 2 red gang members, 6 green members, and 7 blue gang members, including Mr. Green. So, yeah, that's not ideal, but we haven't got any lieutenants or leaders, so there you are. Looks like this. I don't think the snipers has been used as at all, but I don't know whether it can go over that fence or not. We'll have to see. I know there's been some call to remove this section here. Remove that section there, and then in the centre, place a sniper tower. That is possible, however, if I do that, the problem is that if they ever get hit and taken out, then they've got access to a sniper rifle. Not good. I'd rather keep them behind this fence, assuming that it works, you understand. I don't know if it does or not. Right, so we'll put a concrete tile on the entrance that we're there to the workshop. You can see we've got a fair number of people working in the workshop now, so that should be increasing our daily cash flow by a fairly decent amount. And it's good to see that we've got those in there. It does mean then that hopefully reform will start to improve, although it's not realistic to assume that perhaps. So it looks like behavioural therapy, 1 finished, 0% pass. We're going to stop that. We don't need to do that. Alcoholics group still on the go, same as pharmacological treatment to drug addiction. Foundation is still on the go, but I don't think we really need to do it. Actually, Foundation's on the go, but it's the person working it. Matt McKenzie, age 30 there, prison number 150001. They are a skilled fighter, but they have passed the workshop safety induction, and they are working, if I can find it here, where is it? Not in there. They are working, by the look of it, on their education, which is good. Alcoholics group on the queue. Parole hearing, we've just got that maxed out. Do we not? No, we don't need to set any more of that. What I might do, I'm going to edit the schedule, and for parole shared, oh, that's fine. I was going to say for parole, what time is eat time? Okay, so reschedule everything. I was going to say we'll change it to be parole protective custody, but I'm not seeing them. We do have 1 protective custody person, so where are they? There they are. Doesn't matter. We're fine. Right. This is going to be a bit interesting. I'm going to change that to protective custody. I'm going to say reschedule all programs. If we edit the schedule, that's now parole protective custody. So hopefully in the morning, Clark will be escorted there, and then they should go through that. Now, they are ex-law enforcement expert fighter with a 2% reoffending chance. Our cut-off, I believe, is 20% we upped it to. 20% parole cut-off. So that should be more than enough for them to get through that, but we'll have to see if that happens, or if indeed they'll be they actually escorted there in the first place. It looks like Simon is still there. He's got another 21 hours to experience inside there. I'm going to let them go through it, because quite frankly, if we let them out and they go here, they're just going to boot off again. And you know, they say if you can't don't do the crime if you can't handle the time, or some such. Anyway, programs are fine, don't need to alter that. Grants, there's nothing we can do or take. Valuation, we can't do anything because we need to wait a little bit longer for no recent deaths. I think it's 24 hours in total. With Simon not being in here, it should be a lot easier. However, there are other instigators in here. There's an instigator up there. Instigator over here. Yeah, there are different instigators, but it's mainly the problem with instigator is it's not too bad on prisoners that have their needs fulfilled. It's prisoners with volatile and instigator, because not only do they kick off for seemingly no reason whatsoever. Prisoner is liable to kick off without warning and for no reason. But also, if they're an instigator, they force other people to do the same, which is not good. So, how we're doing for flooring? Well, it looks like the majority of places has got the flooring. So all this has been done. All the walkways done. In and around here is fine. The pathways are done. We've got all this bit done around here, there, up across this bit, all these cells. Yeah, I think, really then, it's just a case of putting some more tables in here, actually. I'm going to put one there, and one there, and one there, those 3 places. I think it is now just a case of doing in here, which is not going to cost a massive amount, but it's going to cost a notable amount. Probably more than we have. Yeah, it's going to cost more than we have, so we'll do a little bit at a time. We'll do the walkways down there, like that. And we'll do that over there. And then we'll see if we can do this. Nah, insufficient funds, sadly. Although, only a little bit more and we'll be able to do that. It's 1,780 generic units of currency. However, we have 1,500 and there's some more fighting. And now we've got some repairs to do. So maybe that's not going to happen. Anyway, it's been a bit of an eventful episode, but we still haven't seen whether or not this shower functions. So we're going to give it until the morning and just see whether or not this works. I'm hopeful, I was going to say quietly confident, but that is certainly not the case. I'm hopeful that it won't boot off in the cell block because we haven't got a legendary prisoner who is raging constantly, and then because of the volatile and instigator, I believe. Pretty sure they are. No, they're not volatile. Yes, sorry, they are. They're extremely volatile. Even worse. Extremely volatile, yeah, so they really could boot it off for no reason whatsoever. Just a little bit shy of the money that we need there. Have you noticed that as soon as we stop, it's going to kick off again? As soon as those doors open, that guy's starting to fight. And I don't. Oh, it's because of a hygiene need. Most people, however, are filing out. And they are going down here rather than getting funneled through there. Yeah, there's a lot better flow. Okay. I think I wouldn't say that has resolved the issue, because I think the only way to resolve the issue would be to redesign this place, but it's certainly alleviated some of the issues. Okay, happy with that. That's not too bad at all. Right, so I'm going to sell a little bit more shares, and we will get the rest of this placed in, rest of the flooring placed in, and then I guess it's a case of seeing just how far we can get this prison to sort of reform. In terms of grading, 5 prisoners being released, waiting for some more, but we'll see, well, how many can be released and how many go through parole. I, if nothing else, want to get at least 10 prisoners out so we can get a grading. And then leave it there. Like I said, I was thinking about expansion, but very hesitant to do so. What I do want to do is spend some money on some road blocks, because at the moment we don't have any. So if it does boot off, it's not ideal. So we are on barbed wire as well. We do want to put some barbed wire in and around this area, so we will be working on that as well. So there's still enough to build and enough for us to get on with. But either way, we will call it there. Next episode, we'll see how we get on. As always, hope you have enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. And generic partings.